Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and what I got for you today is a very neat quadcopter, the Cheerson CX-22 FPV quadcopter. This quadcopter is a big advance over the previous CX-20. Cheerson went and threw all the bells and whistles that you can think of into this quadcopter. I really think it's a neat combination what they've included here. I'll first go over the quadcopter, then we'll go over the specifics of the transmitter. Both of them have a lot of features I need to talk about in detail here. This particular review is going to take a while. There's going to be a lot of me blah 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 in here in the beginning. I will include a link up here on the screen here if you want to get past my description here and go right into the flying part of the video. So click on that hyperlink right now. Okay, the quadcopter includes, let's go over the bells and whistles of this quadcopter. It comes with a gimbal, a 2-axis gimbal system, which is pretty neat. It also comes with a 1080p camera. Now this 1080p camera also includes within it an FPV transmitter system. The transmitter is set by opening this little door here, and there's a 6-pin transmitter binary pin setup in there. That means I believe that's 64 different channels that you can select on the transmitter, although the receiver that comes with this is only a 5-pin, so there's only 32 of those channels that you could use with the receiver. Other components of this quadcopter, it includes, of course, a GPS system, and something special about this battery. Let's pull this battery out real quick. I want to talk about this battery in detail, actually. If you look at this battery, especially the attachment or the poles on this battery where you can attach the power plug to it, you cannot use your regular balance chargers, your advanced balance chargers that you might have at home. This one here has its own built-in balance charger. It has a circuit board with a balance charger already built into it. You have to use the charging plug that comes with it to use this battery. This battery is a smart battery, I guess. It's intended, it shuts itself down after a certain period of time. That's good and bad in that the first battery that I got with this quadcopter about 3 weeks ago would shut itself down early. I had to wait for a replacement battery to come because I could not fly the quadcopter with the original battery that came with it. I don't know if that's going to be an issue with future, with other people, or maybe it was just my particular luck of the draw with the battery that I got for it. But again, this has its own balance charger built into it. It will not hook up to other, balance chargers. I'm not sure if it would work properly if you tried to do such. You have to use the charger that comes with it. The battery is 5,400 milliampere hour, 11.1 volts. With that, you get approximately 25 minutes of flight time, advertised flight time, with this battery. That's a pretty big battery for this quadcopter. And that's one of the good features of this quadcopter. It has extended flight time. Let me put this battery back in here. One thing about this battery, it's very difficult to get out. You have to practically pry it out of there. I use a little avocado scooper to get mine out after, try to do it by hand. It's very difficult. Okay, but that's how you put the battery in there. It's in now. Other features, let's go over this gimbal real quick. I wanted to make sure, a lot of people hook up these gimbals wrong. Cheerson went and labeled each one of these wires and where it goes, so pay particular attention to it. You got plus minus 12 volt goes into the plus and minus 12 volt. Red is plus, remember that. Then you have this S1 and S2 signal wire, which controls your pitch and roll. You also have S4 and S5 signal wires, along with okay, that's the power wire there. But I actually forgot what S4 and S5 is for. S1 and S2 is your pitch and roll. S4 and S5. Oh, yeah, you got to control the camera. That's for taking photos and taking videos. I'm sorry. Now I remembered. So yeah, you have control of this camera from the transmitter. And again, these other two signal wires are for activating the camera. Okay, now let's go over the features of the transmitter and the receiver. I'll start with the receiver system. Here's the FPV receiver system. It's a dual receiver system. What that means is this has built into it 2 different receiver boards. You can set these antennas at different angles, and based on whichever receiver is picking up the best signal, this automatically switches to that particular receiver. The advantage of that is you get greater range than a single receiver system. You know, if a particular antenna angle is providing better reception to a particular receiver, that one will be used. So a single receiver system may not or does not have that advantage. Again, this receiver system has 5 binary pins, which means it has 32 channels that you can select for its use. As with all FPV screens, though, it is somewhat difficult to see in the daylight. I don't know if you can see the static there. With that in mind, I have fabricated a little box to go with it, with a camera in there to improve reception. It also includes a Fresnel lens so that I can see what the quadcopter is seeing out here in the field. I'm going to use that in the flight. But it does have a menu selection. You can adjust the brightness and the contrast. It also has volume. I don't believe you can hear the actual volume from the quadcopter, though, on this particular receiver system. Let's go over the transmitter. You have switches for setting the various modes of this quadcopter. Now, this quadcopter has altitude hold mode, which you select by putting these 3 switches to 0 position. It has GPS hold mode, which you select by setting this switch to 1 and leaving the other 2 at 0. It has circle me mode, which will circle this particular transmitter by selecting this switch and this switch to 1 and this switch to 0. It has follow me mode by setting this switch to 0, this to 1, and this to 1. And finally, it has return to home mode, which you select by just putting down into 2 on switch number A. And again, if this runs into an emergency where it loses reception from the transmitter, this quadcopter will automatically return to its takeoff position. Unfortunately, if it has a low battery, it does not return to its takeoff position. I wish they would have included that feature with it. That would have been really cool. But let's go over the other features. This quadcopter has telemetry, which you can view the telemetry information in flight on this LCD screen. Particularly comes in handy is the battery power and the remaining battery power and the range of the quadcopter from you, so you can keep it within range. It also has lat long and other features that I'll try to display as we're flying here. Now, if you notice this transmitter, it has 2 antennas, one for controlling the quadcopter and receiving the telemetry information, and also it has a GPS. Why would it have a GPS? Well, the quadcopter needs to know where this transmitter is so it can do its follow me mode and its circle me mode. This particular quadcopter is for your average narcissist or you know, your average person who loves to take selfies. This one will follow you and will circle your position. If you say you want to go skiing or you want to ride your motorbike out in the desert here, you have to carry this receiver along with you. But before you take off, you point the quadcopter, you set the quadcopter in the sky, point it toward you, and select follow me mode by going to 1 and 1, and it will follow you and maintain a position on you. I'm going to demonstrate that in future videos up in the canyons here. Today, I'm out here in the desert. Mainly, I want to fly in a low risk area in case something does go wrong. I can hopefully be able to receive it. But in future flights, I will be taking it to more and more riskier locations, particularly up in the canyons here. So let's go into a flight of the CX-22. I'm going to hook up my sunshade and turn on the little run camera that I have inside here so that I can see it, and also you can see it too. I'll turn on that run cam so that we'll be able to view this screen in flight. Let's go for a flight of the CX-22. Hope you enjoy this flight. Okay, now I'm going to go over the startup procedures. Let's go to a better launch location. Particularly, I want to go and put an X in the ground here so that we can compare. I'm going to do a return to home flight or return to landing and compare its actual landing position with its takeoff position. So I'll put an X in the ground. This will be our takeoff position. We got somewhat of a breeze today. We'll see how that affects the flight. Now, let me take off this sunshade. The manual describes two different ways of starting this. First, it says, yeah, you need to turn on the transmitter first, and then you turn on the quadcopter. I find that you really, to get this to bind properly, you more or less have to turn both of them on at the same time, with preference to a little bit, half a second preference to the quadcopter. So I'm going to press the quadcopter button until I hear the beep, and then I'm going to turn on the transmitter. Or the beep. And we turned on the transmitter. And let's go enter. And we're going to see our telemetry data. Right now we've got 11.9 volts. I did a little run up before I came out here at home here, but we're starting off with 11.9 volts, 0 ampere hours. No satellites received yet. The little satellite button on the left, or window on the left, means the satellites that the quadcopter is seeing. The little one on the right means the satellites that this transmitter is receiving. And other features, let me go. The range right now is 0 because we haven't taken off yet. And we have velocity of the quadcopter, velocity of the transmitter if we're driving or flying or riding a motorbike or walking through the desert. And the lat long is also displayed. Okay, we got 3 satellites. We need to wait until we get at least 5 satellites in order to use the GPS system here. I am going to set all my switches to 0 for takeoff. Or actually, I'm going to set this one to 1. So we're going to be in GPS mode at takeoff. And again, we're waiting for a lock, a satellite lock. We're at 5 right now. Let's see how long it takes us since I turned on this transmitter. I did an initial satellite lock at home before coming out here. It's important before you fly this to do a calibration of both the compass of the quadcopter and also to calibrate its gyros. There's 2 different ways to do that. To calibrate the compass, you move up and down this switch A about 3 times while it's on the ground, 3 or 4 times. The quadcopter's bottom lights will begin to blink, and then you got to do a circle turn with the quadcopter held out horizontally about 3 to 5 times, and then you repeat that with another circle turn with the quadcopter pointed downward toward the ground about 3 to 5 times to calibrate the compass. I'll include links to similar videos on how to do that. And to do a compass calibration, I believe you pull down the throttle and then you put the quadcopter on a flat level surface first, pull down the throttle all the way, and then you jiggle the right pitch roll stick until the quadcopter's lights blink. It's very simple to do. Okay, we have 6 satellites. We should be good to go. I am going to turn on my camera inside my box here, my run cam. Okay, run cam is recording. Turning on my FPV. I'm looking at my FPV screen and I see that the camera is a little bit tilted, so I am going to adjust my roll command to level it out. And I hopefully you're seeing that too. That seems to be level. And I'm going to raise it up just a bit. The camera just a bit. Actually, let's leave it right there. Level surface. Okay, now to record, you use switch D here. To take a video, I believe you push downward on it. To take a photo, you pull up. Let's double check that right now. I'm pushing down, and video is now recording. So push down to take a video and lift up to take a photo. So we're good to go. To unlock this quadcopter, I pull down the stick and move it to the right. The quadcopter should enter into idle. To lock the quadcopter on landing, you pull down the stick and move it to the left. So let's unlock it. Or maybe it's the other way around. 6 satellites. Oh, you got to be in all switches. Got to be in 0 to unlock first. There we go. All switches are in 0. I'm going to take off in altitude hold mode. Actually, let me put it in GPS mode. Double checking GPS is 0 and 1. We're going to take off in GPS mode. Looking at my screen, also double checking to. There we go. Here we go. Hope you enjoy this flight. Okay, it's in GPS position hold right now. And it seems to be holding its position well. Let me take it up a little bit higher. Again, we got a little bit of a breeze. I'm checking all the lights. Everything's looking good. I'm adjusting my telemetry so I can look at the battery. We got 11.1 volts. I'm turning the quadcopter, and we're going to follow this road using FPV. I'm flying full FPV right now, looking in my little black box here. You're seeing what I'm seeing. Let's give it a little more speed. I want to take it down to the end of that road and see what's over there. Turning to the right a bit. Turning to the left a bit. Following the road. This is really cool, folks. Give it a little more speed. And I'm good at 11 volts. What's my range? 186 meters. Okay, the ground is coming up a little higher there. I'm going to increase my altitude a bit. That's cool. Okay, we're out there in position hold right now. And I got 6 satellites. Now I want to try return to home. Let's try that right now. I'm going to hit the switch to 020. Going to return to home mode. I flew FPV to get over there. Let's see what it does for return to home. It's flying backwards. Got a lanyard. This comes with a lanyard, by the way. I'm putting the lanyard back on. Got a neck lanyard. In there, that's pretty damn cool. This black box really works well, folks. I've described this. I made this out of foam board that I got from the local dollar store. It's very easy to make. It's just a box made out of black foam board, but it really blocks out the light well. And I taped inside of it a little Fresnel lens to magnify the video, and that works well too. Let's see how accurate this return to landing is. I can break out of that by moving switch A up and down between 0 and 1 if I want to take command again. And I think I am going to take command again, because that is kind of screwy what it's doing right now. How many satellites do I got? I got 7 satellites. So I'm going to take command. I'm going back to command again. I'm in altitude hold mode now. I did not like what it was doing there, so it was a little bit wobbly at that point. Let's go back to GPS hold. Let me. Okay, I'm back in GPS hold mode. It seems to be steady now. That was really wobbly there on its return. I don't know what that was. Okay, let's try a circle me while we got voltage on this thing. Okay, circle. I'm going to move it out to that position there and select 110. And then rotate the quadcopter toward me. And that should be, this should circle me when I move the pitch roll stick right and left. Maybe, okay, going back to 0, 0, 0. How many satellites? Oh, my transmitter has 0 satellites right now. I don't know what the deal with that is. Okay, that's why it doesn't know where I'm at. Okay, let's fly around a little bit more. I'm not sure why my transmitter's not receiving satellites. I'm going to have to read the manual on that, but let's do a little more FPV flying over this area. Again, this is the first flight of this. I am going to go downstream here a bit, down the road. How many volts do I got? 10.8 volts. I'm going to turn around a little bit. There I am. All right. Yeah, really, I'm not sure why the receiver is not receiving a signal from the satellites yet. I probably need to do something that I haven't done. I got to go back and read my manual a little bit more. Again, this is a first look, folks. I just want to try the FPV, though. It's doing a really good job, though. 10.7. I'm at 10.7 volts already, though. I don't know how long I've been flying yet. But I'm going to bring it in here now. Because the two features I wanted to demonstrate today, I can't. Because I don't have satellite reception on my receiver. So I'll try to demonstrate that tomorrow. But right now I'm just getting a feel for this quadcopter's flightability. And one time I'm going to go down in this gully here. Go into altitude hold mode. I'm going to fly around the remainder of this flight in altitude hold. I'm going to see if it's more steady than GPS. And yeah, it seems to be much more steady. Altitude hold tries to hold a position, and every little wind gust that comes along makes it jiggle quite a bit. Altitude hold mode seems to be the way to go to fly this. Okay, I'm going to land it now. Let's find a spot right about there. And down we go. And locking it. Well, looking back at my battery, I still have 11.2 volts. I am going to try one more takeoff, and this time we'll go down that road. No, let's go up this road, off to the left here. So I'm going to use the rest of that battery. I'm going to take off again in altitude hold. All switches are to 0. I'm still recording. Okay, unlocking. And away we go. I'm going to set that altitude there, maybe a little bit higher, and go down the road. Yeah, altitude hold seems to be the way to go. If you want to fly this FPV, I don't recommend GPS. Much more stable in altitude hold mode. You can fly much faster too. Okay, let's bring it in for a landing now. What are we doing? Oh, 10.6 volts. I gotta land it. I'm not sure I got 25 minutes. But Again, this is the first flight of this battery. And there you are. And I'm going to land. I got an airplane flying over too. I want to land this before he gets there. We'll try to land it. And there we go. Okay, I've landed, and voltage is 11.2 volts after landing. I don't know if I probably got more flight time there if I want to take off again. The combination of the gimbal and the camera and lifting the gimbal and the camera causes somewhat of a power drain while it's in the air, but once you land it again, you seem to get a bounce back in power. So although you can get 25 minutes flight time, it's probably not 25 minutes non-stop flight time. You might want to land in between there to let the battery regenerate there. Like I'm seeing right now, 11.2 volts. Let's go over what happened today. Although I started out and I flew out to about 300 meters, then I executed a return to home. It came back, but once it was flying over the landing position, it was really wobbly. I don't know what was going on there, so I took back control of it. And the way to take back control again of the quadcopter when it's in GPS mode is to switch, put your switches back to 0 and switch A to 0, 1, 0. Do a 0, 1, 0, and you're back in altitude hold mode. It'll go straight to altitude hold mode, and then it became much more steady. Flying around in GPS position hold, I recommend using that kind of sparingly. If you want a nice smooth flight, you want to fly around in altitude hold mode. It's much more a smooth flyer. And then when you get to a position that you want to photograph and hold, then enter into GPS position hold. I recommend doing it that way. Other things that happened today, I could not get a GPS lock, or I could not get any satellites on my GPS, on my transmitter. I'm not sure what I was doing wrong there. I think I need to read, excuse me folks, read my manual again. I probably had something inaccurately set there because I haven't done a GPS lock on that transmitter yet. But overall, very smooth flyer. It was very good FPV flyer. Very good reception on the FPV. I was at 300 meters. Future flights, I'll take it out further. This black box works really well on it. Highly recommend you using that. And overall, it was an interesting flight. I thought it was interesting. So again, keep an eye out. There'll be future videos. I'll be going over the other features, particularly circle me and follow me mode in the next video that I do. I'm going to focus on that, demonstrating that. I'll probably take it up to, if you can see off into the distance there's a rock formation. That's called Robber's Roost on the edge of the mountains there. Probably take it up there and we're going to demonstrate those features there. Or either that or up in Indian Wells Canyon, which is over there. So hope you enjoyed this flight. It's Quadcopter 101, again with a flight of the CX-22. Signing out.